And we are live. Okay, folks. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Harlequin Murray. I am your co-host this evening, as I usually am on Monday nights. And this is Ellen Winn's Team Zoom. So pretty much everybody on this Zoom is on Ellen's team, although we do invite other DAC brokers to be on this call. So they're always welcome. But it's mostly designed for us, for you guys to have an opportunity to ask questions and to get some necessary information out to you and some training. But anyways, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. We're excited to see you and looking forward to getting to know you. I see a couple of names on here I don't recognize, so that's always a good sign. But anyways, as I mentioned, this is Ellen's Team Zoom. Ellen is a dear friend of mine that I've known for 20 years now. It's crazy to think that, but it's true. But anyways, she is my enroller, and she's pretty much everybody on this t call on her um, team as well. But for those of you who are not familiar with Ellen, she is a entrepreneur and has been for many, many years. She started out in the restaurant industry, worked in the corporate world with restaurants, worked with Domino's, and was um, managing most of the stores in the state of Georgia and training them as well, and had her own pizza restaurant that she started from scratch. She had a couple of locations with that. She owns limousine company, an insurance agency, and probably a couple other things in there as well. She's always doing something. Like the woman does not stop, trust me. But anyways, we are fortunate to have her leading us and teaching us. So without further ado, I will let her finish her drink there and go ahead and take it away, Miss Ellen.
Thank you, Harlequin. I appreciate that. Yeah, 20 years has certainly flown by, right? Good to see you guys tonight. Those of you on camera, appreciate that. Always good seeing your faces here. Um, Thank you for that introduction. And to me, entrepreneur means I'll do anything in the world to never have a boss again. And guys, it is so freeing to have been self-employed since 1997. So, coming up on 30 years almost that I've been doing my own thing, working for myself and finding a way and navigating. But you know what? Home-based businesses like DAC have been a big part along my journey. I left corporate America in 1997, opened my own brand of restaurants, as Harlequin said, Wynn's Pizza in my hometown of Dallas, Georgia. I had two locations, and then by 2003, I had hit burnout. Was looking for an exit strategy. And it was then that I was introduced to the home based business industry. It was a traditional network marketing company that I was invited to see. And when I first saw that business presentation where I could build a team and leverage my income by having other people that came in to make money, and when they were successful, it also built an income for me. It was a light bulb moment. It was exactly the same model that I had been so accustomed to in the franchising world, but I wouldn't have the high overhead. I wouldn't have to pay royalty fees to the corporation. I wouldn't have to have employees. That was the best part, not ever having employees again, where you got people burning up time on your clock and not doing, having productive work going on there. But it was just an eye opener for me. So over the years since 20, let's see, 19, no, 2002, when I was first introduced to direct selling, whether it was a network marketing company or more of a traditional direct selling company with a brokerage model like DAC has, I really saw that light bulb moment to be able to leverage my income, still have a business that paid me. I saw a video today where talking about somebody going to work and making money for themselves, or you can be like a garage owner that has multiple mechanics working. And when those mechanics are doing repairs on your car, you as the garage owner are making money when other people are working, right? Well, that's how our model works here at DAC. And it's a powerful model if you get busy and start doing what we teach you. And that is to simply offer the broker opportunity to other people, let folks know that you're looking to build a team, and also be putting the word out about funding. I've shared before, many of you may have heard that as I look at my income here with DAC as a whole, about 5% of my income has been based on what I've brought to the table. The other 95% is what my agency team has brought to the table, because with all of us combined, we have funded millions and millions of dollars. It's a huge model, and it's a really big business opportunity for you. So I want to get started with our screen share and get into our top recruiters for the week and go through that real quick. Now, to be named on our top recruiter list, you had to have 2 or more recruits for the week. This is the week of 10/6 through 10/12. I came in first place, tied with Handling Business Inc. So both 2 of us had um, 2 or more recruits for the week. We had many people in the team who had 1 recruit, and I'm sure many of you had conversations with people, but maybe didn't have anybody sign up last week. If that's the case, just continue putting it out there, letting people know that you're looking for brokers to add an additional income stream outside of what they're currently doing. Looking for those folks that are in the B2B space, but they don't have to be. You're going to find B2B people are more experienced talking to business owners. They're more comfortable in that space and are more likely to be able to add this into the conversation when they're talking about their portfolio of services. But it can be somebody that has no experience whatsoever, as long as they're willing to be coachable and trainable and to implement what we train, right? So those are our top recruiters for the week.
And
Also, yeah.
Ellen, just Handling Business Inc. is Dana Cannon.
Okay. Congratulations, Dana. So I want to go through the, excuse me, the folks who have gotten started, are new brokers, and who have gotten certified within their first 7 days. And this is only a 2-week look back. So if you're on here and you missed being recognized, didn't see your name in the previous weeks, we've been doing that now for a few weeks. And this is a 2-week look back. I went back and make sure I didn't have any overlapping folks from who I had announced the week before. So and I put these in alphabetical order. So ABK Holding Company LLC, Bradley Amadon, Cason Strategies LLC, Handling Business Inc., Lou Preston Enterprises, OV Gardner. Is that the 6th? I'm not sure. LI? I'm not sure what that means. Sorry about that,
The
OV.
second.
The 2nd, okay, because there's an I in there. I think it's just a typo. Rareco Capital LLC, Solvency Solutions IQ, and Stone and Breeze Ventures LLC. So congratulations to you guys. And folks, as I look at our certified brokers as a whole, the ones who are getting certified are the ones who are getting started and getting certified within their first 7 days. After someone's been here more than 7 days, the likelihood that they're going to go through certification slows down. So you want to encourage those new brokers to get plugged in, go look for their welcome letter, and go through the training certification as soon as they can, so that when they start having conversations with business owners, one, they know what they're talking about. They're not misrepresenting our services and giving DAC a bad name. And 2, making sure that they get paid full commission and not just the 10% that they would earn as a referral partner if they don't go through certification. Okay. So let's talk about funding tonight, because I want to remind everybody, I'm going to go through 4 slides that are pulled from our business opportunity presentation. But what I find is most brokers get started. Some get started without even watching the presentation. But most get started, they watch the presentation one time and then they dive into the training. So I want to remind everybody that the business funding sector that we are in Small business owners are the most underserved market in America. There are 30 million small businesses. 27 million of them are not bank eligible. So, with statistics, American business owners, 1 out of 3 are going to fail in their first 2 years. 1 out of 2 are going to fail in their first 5 years. And then 2 out of 3 of those remaining are going to fail in their first 10 years. So we've got to help them, because if you ask the businesses that failed, and this was through the Small Business Administration, they asked for the what was the reason for those businesses failing, and the number one reason stated was 82% of them said it was lack of access to working capital. Because you get your business up and started, a lot of businesses spend every penny that they have doing the remodeling and getting their leaseholds and everything and doing their initial inventory when they first get started. And then all of a sudden there's a cash crunch, right? They're not turning cash quick enough to replenish the inventory, because on top of not just that cash coming in to be able to replenish inventory, most people are having to pay employees out of that money too. So it's not a dollar for dollar swap of I sell this and I buy more of this. If they're running a retail business, they've got to pay employees, they're paying insurance, they're paying utilities, and all the other costs that go into running a traditional brick and mortar business or a retail location. So um, that access to working capital, everybody says, well, isn't that what the banks are for? Well, banks are only great for 10% of the business owners out there. 90% get rejected. Why is that? Well, if you look at it on the left, we have what the traditional bank is looking for. They're requiring collateral, some real estate collateral, or 2 years in profit with profitable tax returns. They're looking for a 700 plus FICO score. They want a business plan, and it has to be approved by the bank, the loan officers. They have a long, complex application, and usually it's a 1 to 3 month process to get a decision on that. So businesses, they're doing less than $1 million are hard to get qualified. Okay. Now on the Bank Breezy and our Bank Breezy platform through DAC, it's real simple. We don't require any collateral, so we can mark that off of what the banks require. We're just looking for 15,000 or more in sales over the last 3 consecutive months, 550 or better credit score. We use the funds freely. The business has no restrictions on what they do. In fact, they can use one business to get approved for their funding and take that money on one business and apply it to another business. Maybe they have an existing business, they're wanting to borrow money to start a new business. They can do that because we don't have any restrictions on the funds. It's a simple 5-minute online application. They get funded in one business day. And the best part of our application is that one application is going to get that business exposure to 20 of the top lenders in the country. So David talks many times about how a lot of businesses want to go in and apply online, and they'll try to pick out 1 or 2 lenders that they think they might get approved through. Well, they're out here, it's like they're going with a blindfold and trying to guess at which lender is best for them. Well, Bank Breezy platform takes the guesswork out of the funding game, because we know we're the experts. We know which of the lenders in our network are going to fund the different types of industries, and our team does all of that. We protect the business owner's FICO score by pulling it only one time. Did you realize that when small businesses are out there on their own trying to find those funding offers by applying to multiple places, they're really hurting themselves. They're damaging their FICO score, and the lenders in our network can see where they've been applying at other places. And a lot of times that's going to prevent them from even getting an offer, because the lenders are afraid of that business owner trying to stack multiple loans, which is against our terms and conditions and would prevent them from being able to pay back to the lender. So we really are protective of those small businesses, and our goal is to help them get enough working capital to grow and expand to where they're here for 2 years profitable, and to where they can get in a position where they can have collateral and be able to be fundable by the bank. Okay. There are over 9 million businesses who qualify for our type of funding, the working capital funding, and 20 million other business who can qualify for our instant funding when the clients get sent through Giggle. So the opportunity for us as DAC funding brokers is absolutely enormous. And reminder as to what we actually do as a broker, you don't have to know all the details. Yes, you got to go through certification, you got to know the basics, and you got to know what you're talking about when you're pre-qualifying a business owner. But it's as simple as you locating, bird dogging, being that loan originator, finding those businesses that are looking for working capital. Remember, 9 out of 10 of them can't get approved at the bank, and statistically, 6 out of 10 business owners are going to need funding sometime this year. So it's a matter of you getting the word out. They may not need funding today, but the conversation you have today could help them get funded tomorrow or next week or the next month when that funding need arises, right? We find the business that's looking for working capital, make that introduction, whether they're looking today or not. You're just introducing yourself, making them aware of the service that you have to offer. When they get ready to apply, you simply connect them through your website, and then our Bank Breezy team takes over. They literally do 100% of the work. The only time you really need to step into the picture is if your client is not responding, and then our funding team will say, hey, have you been able to get in touch with the client? We're trying to call them and they're not answering our call. So you may need to get involved at that point just to make sure the connection is there. But our team does 100% of the work. They do all the work and you get paid for bringing them to the table. And as I said earlier, when I look at my income as a agency owner here with DAC, and I've gotten a lot of clients. I've gotten clients with every service that we offer. Um, and I've made a lot of money on my personal fundings, but 95% of my income comes from what the whole agency does, a little bit from every funding that happens in my team, right? So remember, you earn on your agency deals in addition to what you earn. So don't take that lightly on the ability to build a team here with DAC. Now, some examples of recent fundings, a couple of these I talked about last week, but these are just some industries that you should be aware of. And I'll tell you a story on what they covered today. A beauty salon, construction, emergency services. We just had a water damage restoration company get a $130,000 offer, a coffee shop, an HVAC service company, and a tree service landscaping company. Now remember, DAC has the best offer guarantee. Not only are we protecting that FICO by having that one single application and getting able to get in front of 20 different lenders, but that best offer guarantee, DAC is going to give them a $500 gift card if they find a better offer outside of what we've offered them, right? We don't encourage them to go shop because that could actually cause a lender to withdraw the loan. If they've already come to us and they have an offer on the table, if we can't meet or beat that offer, then we'll give them a $500 gift card. But Bank Breezy has never had to pay out that meet or beat guarantee because we always come in the best position. Many of these companies that have applied with us are out there where they've got two positions, meaning they've already gotten two other loans with two other companies, and we're able to get them a third position simply because of the relationship that the Bank Breezy team has with the lender. If the client tried to get that kind of money on their own directly through the lender, there's not a trust relationship like there is here with the Bank Breezy team. And a lot of times those clients wouldn't have a chance at all in getting that second or third position funding. But the Bank Breezy team can really go to work for your client and make miracles happen. I want to remind everyone of our weekly call schedule, Monday through Friday at 11:30. There's a 10-minute daily huddle. It goes more than 10 minutes, but in the first 10 minutes, you can get some great information if you're busy that day. Log in if you can. The huddle opens up 10 minutes early at 11:20 a.m., allowing brokers to get on, do shout outs to their team or telling success stories that they've had. So that's a 10-minute before the actual start of the call at 11:30, and then 11:30 Usually David Rutz, our founder, is the one that's leading the huddle. He's going to give us a couple of examples of recent fundings, some of the intricate details of those funding offers, and then another opportunity for shout outs after that 10-minute huddle is there. So really 10 minutes can be where you get those golden nuggets. Those aren't recorded. He mentioned last week that he's going to try to put those in the Facebook group. That didn't happen today, but hopefully it will be coming here soon so that you'll be able to go catch those, because I know not everybody has the availability to jump on a daytime Zoom at 11:30 Eastern time. Okay. And then a reminder that every Monday at, and I didn't mean to do that, I was trying to close that screen out. Every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time is our Winn Agency Team Zoom, and that's at zoom.ellenwinn.link. Okay, that's the end of my slides. So I'm going to take this off slide share and go to see if anybody has any questions. Is there anything in the chat there that we need to address, Harlequin? I know you're always good at looking at that. I see Ray's got a hand up. Nothing in chat? You're muted, Harlequin. You're muted.
Yeah, that
There
would be
you
a
are.
problem, wouldn't it?
Nothing in the
Yeah.
chat?
No, it's just that OV Garner, it was a typo in his name. I'm and I just for anybody who ever has that happen, you can just log into your back office and go to the support. That's the easiest way to do it and just say, "Hey, my name was typed in incorrectly. Can you please correct it for me?" Because that is one field that you cannot change yourself.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's I'm sorry to interrupt that. Yeah, I'm OV. That's been an issue my whole life. It happens at work, at jobs. It's not a big deal. But now that I know how to change it, I will. But that's something that's happened to me about a million times in my life, so it's not a big deal. They sometimes they'll put a big I and a little I, so it looks weird.
Perfect. Well, thanks for coming on camera tonight. Good to see you. Glad to have you on the team. All right, let me go to Ray, ask her to unmute. Ray, can you unmute?
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Ellen. Can you
Hello.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Sound great.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, I got two questions. So for the huddle, is he? I know he mentioned that it was going to be on Facebook. So will it still be a Zoom one as well, or he's trying it? Is he bringing it together?
It
I
will.
just want to
Yeah,
be clear.
there's some streaming platforms. One of them is StreamYard, where like tonight we're on Zoom, okay, but I'm also streaming live on YouTube simultaneously as I
Yeah.
am here on Zoom. And that's what some of the software does. StreamYard allows him to do Zoom and also stream to Facebook, and he's just got to get that connected so it works streaming to a group. It's easy to do an individual page, but streaming to a private group like broker group, he hadn't figured that out yet. But that way we will have a recorded version of it when he gets that simultaneous streaming going. So folks that are in the group will be able to see the recordings there. A lot of people aren't in Facebook at all, so they're not all part of the agent group or the broker group there. So he wants to do both. But yeah, it'll be
Okay.
recorded if that's the case.
Okay. My second question is, okay, so over the weekend, I ended up communicating with someone. I'm not sure if he's going to sign up or anything, but he did look at the video on my site, and he had a question about like as far as, and I know that this has probably been discussed, but I guess I wanted to also understand it as well again. So he just wanted to know like, okay, what happens if the business owner defaults on the payments that they have to go through, like Bank Breezy? What happens and how does that affect us if they don't make their payments at all? Like they just don't make the payments. I know it was at one point, maybe I might have misunderstood if there was like a chargeback, or I mean, so I wanted to answer that for him, even in what,
Yeah,
regardless
I
of what
got your
decision he
answer.
makes.
I got your answer. So if it's Giggle, they get one of the smaller fundings. And with Giggle, if they don't make their first payment, then it's considered a default and we don't get paid a commission. After we've been paid that commission with Giggle, if the client defaults, that's on Giggle. Okay. that does not get clawed back. On the Bank Breezy side, we've typically got a 30-day window. If the client does not default in their first 30 days, then that commission is considered earned. There are some cases where we've got some really big fundings, like millions of dollars in funding, and that may be a bigger window, but typically it's still that 30 days. DAC typically holds those bigger commissions and doesn't pay it out until we're past that default window. Because honestly, if DAC pays out several $1,000s in commissions to a broker who is not consistently producing business and that client defaults, there's really no way to get that money back from the broker. So DAC has learned to put protective measures in there so that they're not having to eat a big clawback from someone that defaults, and also being able to pay the commissions to the broker. So just so you know, our record as a company, I think it's, Harlequin, correct me if I'm wrong, I think David said like eight clawbacks is all that DAC, or 8 defaults is all DAC has really ever had over the course of our time in business, which is 10 years, which is tremendous considering
Yeah,
the
that's
number of
good.
fundings that we've done. And a lot of that is based on the relationship with our independent brokers. We're not just blasting out there online and funding people that there's not some sort of connection and relationship with. So our marketing model is what really makes it unique there. And our lenders love DAC because of that. They know that the clients that we bring to the table are not as high risk as the average Joe off of the street. And that's where, when I was talking about being able to get that second and third position funded, sometimes at Bank Breezy and our team there can work miracles when working with the funders and asking for special requests, is because of that trusted relationship that they've built over time.
Yeah,
So,
and I did tell him that we had a very low default. I let him know that.
mhm.
So yeah, I just wanted to get a better, explanation so I can,
Yeah.
talk to him about
Absolutely. And let me remind you, as we have new people on here, anytime that there's a question that's posed to you as the broker, you can always reach out to your upline. I'm everybody's upline here. If you don't know who your direct upline is, or they're not busy in the business, then reach out to me. Every one of you, if you're receiving my emails, you've got my cell phone. Shoot me a
it.
text message and ask me the question, and I'll get your answer to you same day in most cases, unless I'm out playing in a golf tournament or something where I'm not checking my phone. But I'll get you that answer quickly so that you don't, your prospect doesn't lose their enthusiasm and excitement on applying or joining as a broker because they're waiting on an answer. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. I
Yeah,
keep that
you
in
bet.
mind.
Thanks for the question.
You will.
Absolutely.
And actually, if
And
I can add to that, Ellen,
sure.
um, I've got a very large team. I've had thousands of fundings happen on my team. I've only had it happen one time, and it happened to be that it was one of the brokers that got a funding and they went and closed their bank account. So it was a case of fraud.
Where
So
one of the DAC brokers
it was a
got
DAC
money
broker,
and they
got the
went.
money for their business,
Mhm.
got the money, went and like within a couple of days closed that bank account and pulled all that money out so that they couldn't get the money. So it was a case of fraud. It was a brand new broker who had signed up. But yeah, that's the only time it's ever happened on my team. So
Awesome. All right.
it just doesn't happen, people, which is a
Now,
wonderful thing.
Sherry, I've got you asking you to unmute. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Awesome.
Um, I have two questions regarding the recordings. Is it possible for David to put the recording in the back office for at least 24 hours for people who missed it that day?
On the,
Because I am not on Facebook anymore.
I understand.
Mhm.
We've asked him to record these, and I can ask if he'll post it in the back office. He just doesn't want it on YouTube and
Right.
streamed out there for anybody and everybody to see. But that's a great idea, and I'll certainly pose that question to him to see if that might be a possibility. He could put it on our Vimeo channel
Hmm.
or post the Zoom link in there. But I'll definitely I'll
Yeah,
pose that question. That's a
yes,
great
even if
idea.
it's yeah, even 24 to 48 hours so that we can catch whoever missed it that they can catch up
Yeah.
because I'm not home every day. And another other question is, um, I don't have an upline. I came over with longevity. I don't think my upline came over. I'm not sure. I know she's still there. So I've been winging it on my own. So what happens to the people who do not have an upline?
Well, you're on here all the time, and I know
All
you
right.
send me emails sometimes. I'm always
Yeah,
happy
something.
to help, and
Okay.
anyone who doesn't participate in these, I mean, they've got support, but we've got a lot of brokers like myself and Harlequin here
Mhm.
in the field. We're happy to answer questions and work with
Okay.
you. I'm happy to do a three-way call with you and a client, because here's the deal: as DAC grows and rises, our whole volume does, it helps everybody. So whether you're
All right.
specifically on my team or not, I'm happy to help you.
Okay.
As David says, when I first got started with DAC in 2018, 7 years ago, my enroller was here for a few months. They're self-made millionaires, have their own product line that they created, and they're off in retirement now. So they were active with DAC for a short time. Their upline was active with DAC for a short time, but I
Hmm.
have no upline. There's nobody
Okay.
active between me and the company. And
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to reach out to. If I've got questions, I send a message to support.
Hmm.
But all the only questions I need are, how something works or whatever. And I try to get answers to questions sometimes so I can be a great support for you guys and always have the right answer. So yeah, but I'm happy to help
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Thank you. Because I was here from the beginning on and off,
Hmm.
from 2015 on and off. So sometimes when I'm not here, I try to, attend as much as I can. But then if you miss something, if you can't go back to listen, you know, or you
Yeah,
can't call, I
I
don't want
get
to
it.
bother you because I know I'm not in your downline. So I know I can call you sometimes. I do send you emails,
Are
but
you are you on
mhm.
you're on my email list too, aren't you?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, so you're getting the replays that I send out of our team.
Not
Can't
recently.
be here.
Not recently.
Are you still getting my emails? Did you get a
No,
notification tonight that
no,
at a team Zoom?
no. I haven't had it
I
moving
may have
forward.
kicked you off the list if
Maybe
you
you
haven't.
did.
If people don't open their emails within 30 days, I clean my
Mhm.
email list and
Oh,
I'll
okay.
delete people out of the account because it affects deliverability
Right.
for
Hmm.
everybody. So
Okay.
if you've been kicked off of that, you can
Hmm.
always rejoin by
Okay.
going to subscribe.ellenwin.link. Just do
Okay.
subscribe, the word subscribe, subscribe dot ellenwin.link, and you
Hmm.
can add yourself back in to my email list.
Okay. I will. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. All right, anybody else before we wrap up? Anything that I've not seen there in the chat, Harlequin?
No, nothing in the chat.
Okay.
Two things I want to point out. One, you were talking about how the banks, so few business owners qualify. Well, I was amazed to find out that only 100 that, well, last year, 100,000 business owners got an SBA funding. And it had been 16 years since they had done 100,000 business owners getting funding. But yeah, so SBA loans are not that easy, folks. And right
And they're
now,
shut down right now.
they're shut down right now, and SBA loans are right currently, well, before the shutdown, they were taking 3 to 6 months.
And
So,
in that, what's the requirement for an SBA loan? It's like getting a bank loan, right? They got to have
oh
good
yeah,
credit. They got to
well,
have time in business.
is most people don't understand this. An SBA loan is a bank loan that is guaranteed. A portion of it is guaranteed by the SBA. So the bank still has to approve it. the bank approves it, and then the SBA has to approve it. So it goes through two different steps because of that. But anyway, so the other thing that I wanted to say, I heard this quote and over the weekend, and I was like, that really fits. It says, a job is like a business with only one customer. If that customer gets upset with you and fires you, you no longer have a business. So that's, two things with a job. Yeah, if your boss gets pissed off at you, you've lost your job. But that's one of the reasons why when we're looking at deposits for funding, they want to see, four or more ideally, because if you only have one person depositing money into the account, it means they've only got one client, and if they lose that client, they're out of business. So, same thing goes if, 50% of their business is from just one client. So that's one of the reasons why they look at that. But it looks like Jeff has his hand up.
I see that. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, how are you doing tonight? Ask you to unmute. There you go.
Good, I'm good. Just took me. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yeah, that's good information, Harlequin. Thank you for your time tonight, Ellen. So I'm riding around. I drive quite a bit, and so I'm riding around snapping pictures of all these different vans. Right, some of them are just small mom and pops, but a lot of these vans are, where they'll have multiple vans in a little larger company. So I'm thinking to myself, I see these everywhere. I started taking pictures and just created on my iPhone a folder for them. So I just snap the picture, go right into photos at the end of the day and put them all in that day's photo. So I've got them dated by when I took them. Gives me all the geofencing of where I took it, et cetera. So I didn't know if that might be a helpful tip.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what are you doing? Tell everybody on here. We got a lot of new people on here. What do you do once you take those pictures and see those businesses?
Oh, once I see the businesses, then we're sending out emails to those clients, calling them. Me personally, I pick up the phone and call them, but I'll talk to a fence post. So, at the end of the day, I'm asking qualifying questions. And one of the things I'm looking for, I'm not saying that the smaller fundings don't add up. I'm sure they do. I'm really looking for businesses, that are doing 100,000 a month at least in business, so they can get qualified for 100 to 200,000. I know in the end, it's going to end up producing a lot larger commissions.
It is. And not only is it going to produce a lot larger commission, but did you know, Jeff, that if you're targeting smaller revenue businesses, you're going to spend as much or even more time in most cases trying to help someone that needs help because their business is struggling. You're going to spend as much or more time with them as you will these larger businesses, because these businesses that have grown to 100,000 or more a month, those business owners realize that cash is king. And when they know that they're ready for a windfall of cash, they're ready to apply. And it's not difficult for them to say yes and accept that offer and move on. And then you've got a quick commission on that, and a much nicer commission too.
Yeah, and I spoke with, to quickly change subjects and then I'll get off. I spoke with a good friend of mine at church on Sunday because I was intrigued by what David had to say in regard to if you look at the cost of funds as opposed to 1.15 or even up to a 1.5 times money. But you compare that out to a bank loan over a much longer term, you end up oftentimes paying the same or more. The cost of money is more. Now it comes you pay it back in a smaller chunk. That's why it looks more appealing. But I talked to her about building just a small tool that I can use with business owners to visually show them that. Because they don't, there's when people see things in writing, it has more power. And so I'm not sure. I've got to revisit with her tomorrow about that, but in terms of my cost and so forth. But it just seems to me that's a natural.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, something they can go to this and do it themselves. Like put in, okay, I want X number of dollars. If I do it, through DAC at this range, money's going to cost me this much. but if I take a bank loan for 5 years or 10 years, it's going to cost me this much. And it'll compare, it'll just, it'll spit it out and compare it. And oftentimes I think they're going to see it could be less, but certainly similar in terms of cost of money.
Oh, especially when you get into our core rate pricing where they've got 100% discount on some of those products. So yeah, very good stuff. Thanks for your comments tonight. Good to see you on camera, Jeff. Always good talking to you.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you. All right, I've got one more hand up. Omolara.
Good evening, everybody. This actually is for Jeff. My son came in right when he was spilling the good news of what he was doing. Did you say you go and look at the SBA's list of people who just applied, or was it the Secretary of State? I missed what you said at the beginning. Thank you.
No, but if I'm the only Jeff on here, and I think I am, and that's sad because, can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah. I hear
Okay.
you loud and clear.
All right. So, no, what I'm
Thank you.
about is as you're rolling down the road, if you look around you, you see a tremendous number of businesses advertising on the sides of trucks and vans, et cetera. And, I was using a voice recorder to try and catch the, ABC Plumbing, blah, blah, blah phone number. It's so much quicker just to take a picture of the van or the truck or what have you. And then at the end of the day, I just take those pictures and I create folders. And so for today, I went into the pictures, saved them into today's folder. And then tomorrow those will go out. I'll be placing phone calls. Sometimes I just call them, right then and there while I'm driving, but I'm still getting my game plan together on some of the stuff I'm doing. So you'll hear more. I don't know.
That is serendipitous because I drop my kids off and I see so many of those construction guys and the lawnmower cutting guys. And I had the same thought today. This is amazing. And I was like, oh, I wish I had some business cards on me, but I would just snap a picture. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah. Another thing to take into consideration, the other thing I'm doing is not just the picture, but when I go back and look at those photos, I quickly go online, Google their business or go to their website. What I'm looking for is a little larger business, something that's a little more established, probably easier to get funded. Hopefully a core rate type funding. So there's a gazillion, mom and pops out there. And as Ellen pointed out, you're going to spend as much or more time landing, sometimes a small funding as you could go out and get, a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 funding for somebody that's, maybe has, 10 vans on the road, air conditioning company or plumbing or whatever it might be. So, but even those companies, I've had all kinds of businesses in my life, and I can tell you it's so true in terms of the funding. Most entrepreneurs, frankly, struggle tremendously, as you know, and many end up wrecking their credit as they're trying to build their business because they tap into their personal credit as opposed to business credit. And so they get racked up on cards and yada, yada. But anyway, I've babbled on long enough. Thank you.
No, good stuff. And Omalara, I think maybe you ran Harlequin's conversation about SBA into the conversation that Jeff was sharing. So that's where that came from. Hey, and I want to also point out on Jeff's comments about taking those pictures. If you're calling them, great. You're doing an introduction and letting people know who you are and that you're in the funding space. And, if and when you need money, would it be okay if I send you some information that you're not trying to sell funding, right? But most importantly, if you choose to send emails to those folks that you have captured their business information on the side of the road, make sure that you create a unique subject line so that that business owner is going to open it. And in Jeff's case, or in my case, I'll say, because I've got Highway 278 here in my local community, I might have a subject line of saw your truck on 278, or saw your truck at Home Depot, or saw your truck in the Kroger parking lot, or at my next door neighbor's house. Something on those lines that relates that you're local and is going to encourage them to open that email. And that's stuff that we cover in the training, but I know we've got so much information out there that wanted to just point that out to you. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. If we don't have any other questions or hands raised, we will wrap up.
I got mine raised.
I see a finger raised, not a hand.
Yeah, literally a hand. For those of us who live in states like Georgia where it's illegal to be holding your phone while you're in the car, and so you can't take pictures, I have a little notebook that I keep in my car. It's actually the one that I track all of my mileage on, which, as a tip, you know, you can save a lot of money on your taxes by tracking your mileage. But I use that to go and write down the information on the trucks.
I think I would take a risk of just snapping a quick photo rather than trying to write while I'm driving.
Well,
But
I usually do it whenever I'm at a stop sign or a
yeah,
stoplight.
there you go.
But
Good plan. And that voice recorder that Jeff referenced,
yeah,
I've done that
that as well.
many times, taking notes in the car and doing a quick voice recorder and being able to go back and extract that information. But all great ideas. So good stuff. Appreciate everybody's
It all
input,
works.
questions. Yeah, it does. The biggest thing is, are you working? If you're willing to work the DAC business, everything that we've shared tonight works. So I encourage you to jump on the huddles, get that inspiration each day, and go out and do what it takes to have success here. Have a blessed evening, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow on the